For this podcast to Philippe Deep Dive, we've been looking into a claim, one we know many of you are probably seeing online. It's a YouTuber suggesting it's actually pretty easy to make money with AI. So the big question is, what's the reality behind that kind of assertion?
Yeah, it's definitely attention-grabbing. This specific video we looked at lays out a 3-step method. It uses free AI tools and the Etsy platform. And the hook is no website needed, no stock, no prior tech skills required.
Right. So our mission today is really to unpack this method, see if it holds water based on their explanation, and pull out the key insights for you, our listener, to understand the potential and, I guess, the process involved.
Exactly. The core promise is, generating thousands of euros per month, supposedly quite discreetly, using AI and what they call a simple copy-paste method to get products listed online. They even mention their own initial skepticism.
Which does make you lean in a bit, doesn't it? What made them change their mind? It seems clearly aimed at people looking for some extra income, maybe passive income, without needing a huge upfront investment or, special skills.
Totally. So the method breaks down into 3 main steps: finding an idea, then hosting and preparation, and finally, listing on Etsy.
Okay, let's tackle step 1 then. Finding a selling idea. Their approach sounds, almost too simple. Just ask ChatGPT for a list of ideas.
Pretty much. The example they actually walk through is digital wall art, specifically abstract Scandinavian style art.
Okay.
But here's what seems like a really smart part. They emphasize checking for demand on Etsy before creating anything.
Ah, the validation step. That makes sense. Don't just create something you like, right?
Exactly. Avoid falling in love with an idea nobody wants to buy. They mention using a tool, Allure I think it was, to look at estimated sales of existing shops in that niche.
And did they find anything interesting there?
Well, yeah, they highlighted some pretty impressive figures. Shops selling similar digital art making, like $24,000 in under a year, another $100,000 over 6 years, even $170,000 in 5 years.
Yeah, okay. So there's definitely potential buyers out there for that kind of thing.
That's the key takeaway for step 1. Find a niche where people are already spending money. Don't guess.
Right, got it. So moving on to step 2, creation and getting it ready.
Yep. For the actual creation, they suggest using Leonardo.ai. The free version is recommended for beginners, which keeps the barrier to entry low. Though they do mention paid tools like Midjourney might, give potentially better results down the line.
And how do you get the AI to make the right kind of art?
They go back to ChatGPT for that, using it to generate optimized prompts specifically for that Scandinavian abstract style. They show it being quite efficient, too, generating over 20 visuals in about 10 minutes.
10 minutes? That's fast.
Yeah. Then you just pick, say, 3 images you like and offer them as a pack. The main point is no drawing skills, no Photoshop needed. The AI does the heavy lifting.
Okay, so you have the digital files. What next? How do you deliver them? This is the hosting and preparation part.
Exactly. It's pretty straightforward, actually. Compress the images into a zip file, then host that file for free on Google Drive. The crucial bit here is setting the sharing link to public so anyone can download it.
Right. Otherwise, the customer can't get their purchase.
Precisely. And the delivery mechanism. A super simple 1-page PDF. Just needs a title, maybe a short message, and most importantly, that public Google Drive link to the zip file.
And Etsy handles sending that PDF.
Yeah, Etsy automatically sends that PDF instruction file to the customer right after they buy. The focus here is purely on function, not fancy design for this PDF. Keep it simple, keep it free, 0 cost for this stage.
Okay, makes sense. Low cost, low friction. Which brings us to step 3, listing on Etsy.
Right. Creating the Etsy shop itself is described as, pretty quick, but they highlight a critical mistake to avoid: poorly optimized titles and keywords.
Ah, the SEO aspect. Because Etsy is basically a search engine for products.
Exactly. Your title needs to use the terms your ideal customers are actually searching for. They mention using ChatGPT again to help craft these titles, using the Scandinavian abstract art example.
What about making the listing appealing? It's just a digital file, after all.
Good point. They suggest using mock-ups. This is presented as a bit of a hack. Show the digital art as if it's printed and framed, hanging on a wall in a nice room, helps people visualize it. They claim this could potentially increase sales tenfold.
That's a significant claim. Visualization is key, I suppose.
Definitely. Then the description needs to be clear, focused on benefits, detailing what the buyer gets, size, usage ideas, etc. And guess what?
Let me guess, ChatGPT for drafting that too.
You got it. Lean on the AI. They gave a pricing example of $4.99 for a pack 3 images.
Seems reasonable for digital art.
Yeah, likely aiming for volume. And of course, you need to handle the admin side, like giving Etsy your payment details so you can get paid. But overall, it's presented as very accessible.
So, summing up the YouTuber's method. Use free AI like Leonardo for creation. Validate demand first on Etsy using tools. Host the files free on Google Drive.
Create a simple PDF deliverable with the download link. Optimize your Etsy listing with good keywords and titles, potentially using ChatGPT.
And use mockups to show the product in context.
That's the gist of it. They also offer a free Etsy Plus AI starter pack via email signup, positioned to help beginners avoid mistakes. And they frame this Etsy thing as just one example of how AI can potentially generate online income.
It's certainly a strategy built on accessibility, minimizing those initial costs and technical hurdles, aimed squarely at folks wanting extra income without needing deep expertise or capital.
True. But as you think about this, questions around, long-term viability, scalability, and especially the level of competition, those are definitely worth considering. How easy is it really when everyone can potentially follow the same steps?
Absolutely valid points. And that wraps up our deep dive into this specific AI income method, featured here on Le Podcast de Philippe. So considering this breakdown we've discussed, what aspects of generating income with AI do you find most compelling, or maybe perhaps most questionable?